our last guest of the day. We are happy to welcome back from Jackson College our entertainment correspondent, Mike Marra. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Bart?
Mike and Dave DeBaker sharing our entertainment correspondent duties because there's just so much in the world of entertainment.
It keeps coming. They keep making it, so I keep watching it.
They do. But they didn't for a while.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. We had a minute there, yeah.
All right, so you last time you were here, I think we were talking about the Academy Awards and the Godzilla movie, one for, I think, special effects.
Yep, that's visual effects, yep.
Yeah. But you liked that movie for so much more than just the visual effects.
Sure, right. I liked it for a number of reasons, which brings me to the other reason why you brought me in today, right? Is that right now we've got two different countries making Godzilla pictures. We've got the Japanese productions, like this one that won Best Visual Effects, which was a very serious take on the monster, right? It's all about the people. It's all about a metaphor, about loss, about war, about destruction, all that kind of good stuff, right? Not good stuff, but you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
Conversely, in America, we got American production companies making Godzilla films, and they're these big explosions, just watch monsters hit each other in the face for 2 hours movies. And it's so much fun that it doesn't seem like this giant monster would have multitudes to him or it, right? But the fact that we can have these two different wavelengths is fantastic. Because this new one that just came out, Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire, was it was like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Now, where can you see the Godzilla movies now? Are they available on streaming?
This new one, you can go to the movies right now and go see it. It's still playing down at downtown right here.
Oh.
But all the other ones you can find the first era that runs from 54 through about 77. Those are all on Criterion. You can sign up for the Criterion channel and stream them all.
Can someone make a Godzilla movie? Is the character in public domain?
Negative. So Godzilla came out in 54. So whatever 1954 plus 95 is.
It's a while.
Yeah, so it'll be a minute.
And it originated in Japan, didn't it?
100%. Yep.
Yeah. So the movie that everyone thinks, the iconic Godzilla on the top of the Empire State Building, that's a Japanese production.
I hate to differ with you here, Bart, but King Kong was on top of the Empire State Building.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Yes.
And that's and now I'm gonna screw up, and I'm gonna tell you that that first King Kong picture was 1933.
Wow.
So there you go. So he's much closer to public domain.
All right. So I mixed up my
it's all right.
What do you call them?
Monsters.
Monsters.
Yeah.
All right. Well, while we're talking about Japanese movies, let's talk about. I've been seeing these ads for Shogun, and I read a review that this series, it's a limited series, is the best thing on TV in 2024.
So, admittedly, I don't watch a lot of TV, Bart. But last time I was here talking about TV, we were talking about Fargo,
right?
Which also runs on FX. And Fargo, that's got to be one of the better seasons of television made in the last 20 so years.
So that's why I know so much about Shogun, because we watched Fargo, and every commercial break was Shogun ads.
About Shogun, yeah. And so the season finale was just last night, and terrific show. Obviously based on the book, right, by James Clavell, I believe his name was, right? There was an adaptation, a mini-series back on TV in the 80s, which I haven't seen, my bad. But this new adaptation is fantastic. Limited series, 10 episodes, they cover the whole book, and I can't say enough good things about this thing.
Yeah, in the 70s there was this, and this is really when it invented. Miniseries didn't exist until programs like Roots, Shogun, and they took the whole country by storm. People watched. I mean, there were like 80 million people that watched this. Yeah. So if someone watched Shogun back on NBC in the 70s, is it different? Do you know?
It's an adaptation of the source material, and so it's going to be pretty close to the same story. But this one does try to be as accurate as possible. They've got people who are making things so that it is accurate to whatever century, I forget, 14th, 15th century of Japan.
Or some dynasty that has a name.
Exactly.
Whatever that might be.
And it's all about this British guy who comes over vying for land control because the Portuguese were the first people who came over to Japan. They started spreading Christianity. They wanted to have trade exclusivity with Japan, and it's all about this guy. And so he's the audience surrogate, right? We understand this guy who's speaking English, right? But everyone else speaks Japanese, and that's one of the cool things about this show is 99% of it is in Japanese with subtitles.
No kidding. Well,
Yeah.
that's I watch TV with subtitles anyway,
Yeah.
so it'd be perfect for me. All right, history on TV. You know, there's two versions. There's real history, and then there's TV history.
Sure.
And when you look at Netflix, like the all the royalty shows, King George, and it's like it's almost all the majority fiction. We're learning history by fiction.
We sure are. We sure are. It's an adaptation problem, right? We see something on television, and just like my parents told me not to do is don't believe everything you see on television.
If
and
it's
then,
on TV.
And then we watch TV and we're like, that's the way it is.
It was on TV, it must be true.
I've got an example for you that I just told my film students last night in my film class. One of my favorite movies of the entire early 2000s, the 21st century, if we want to call it that, was the Facebook movie that David Fincher made, The Social Network, right? And if you go and look into the actual court documents, the court cases, the history of this thing, all of that part of the movie is accurate. But the portrayal of Mark Zuckerberg himself is wildly inaccurate. And so it's made up for, it's fictionalized to be more entertaining. Right? And so we watch something on television, we're like, this is how it really happened. This is how it really is. But, if you take a minute to read a book, it's not exactly the way it is. And they gotta spice it up to make it more exciting.
Yeah. One reason why Mark Zuckerberg was very unhappy with with that movie and his portrayal, because he was a schlub in the movie.
Right, exactly.
All right. There's a very controversial movie out about the Civil War, but not the Civil War.
Sure. Have you read about this part?
I've heard about it, and I'm afraid to watch it because of the reactions I'm seeing and hearing about, and the things that it's maybe stirring up. People are saying that it's not just it's a portend of our future, or it could be. What do you think? Have you seen it?
I'm going to tell you right now, yes, I have seen it. Yes, it's incredible. And two, it's not specifically political to our current political moment at all. It's about a civil war that takes place in the United States, but spoiler alert, by the time the movie ends, you don't even know why the country's at civil war. You don't know whose side is on which side. You don't even know what ideals they're fighting for. That's not what the movie's about. The movie's all about these 4 photojournalists who are trying to make it from New York City to Washington, D.C. That's their entire goal, is to document what's happening in this Civil War. And we see the entire film, no pun intended, but pun intended, through that lens. We see how they see these conflicts. And the movie isn't about political ideologies. The movie isn't about who's right, who's wrong, who's an analog for which political figure in real life. That's not what it's about. It's about living through and documenting this kind of conflict and what that can do to people. And not just you and I, but also people who are in that business of photojournalism, those people who are in the business of taking care of people and that sort of thing. It's a really incredible picture that if you think it's a decisive, if you think the movie is trying to draw a schism between our country and the ideologies of the left and the right, you didn't pay attention to the movie.
All right. So it wasn't produced by Fox or CNN.
No, it was not. It was actually directed by Alex Garland, who's a Brit. So
there. While we have a minute, we thought we'd give another plug to your theater program.
let's do it.
Sarah Ann Tomczak is putting on a show. Have you had a chance to peek in on any of the rehearsals?
Not yet, not yet. I've heard good things though.
She's very excited about this. The return of live theater to Jackson College in the newly restored Michael Bauman Theater, and it had, like the rest of Potter Center, it was undergoing complete renovations. So, another reason to go see it. Are you going to get into the theater and do any like walk-ons or maybe some sort of cameo part in any show?
Not an in front of the camera type guy, Bart.
Have you ever done theater?
Not for a long time.
No. You seem like you'd be very good at
You
it.
think so?
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Can you remember things like lines?
I've never had enough lines to remember. The closest I ever got was sometimes I would do a cameo when my mother conducts a men's group,
Okay.
and every once in a while I would show up in a bear costume or something.
All right, we'll never say never. All right, so there's some recommendations. Sylvia at Jackson College, Shogun, anything Godzilla,
There you go.
and Civil War.
Love it.
Thanks, Mike. Entertainment correspondent, Mike Marra.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.